and now we're going to be looking at mining. Now, you know that Ghana is the leading gold producer in Africa, repositioned as that giant, and it's being said that we produce about 3.5 million ounces of gold. What does that mean to our economy, our transformation and development agenda? We have the CEO of the Minerals Commission, Mr. Martin Ayisi, in the studio this morning. And today we'll be looking at small-scale and community mining scheme, the regulatory framework, what they need, acquisition of lands and all of that. We'll be diving right into it in a bit, and he'll throw more light on how to acquire these regulatory frameworks, how they are empowering all these small-scale miners and young companies, especially the advocacy for young Ghanaian-owned mining companies to go into the mining space and then own that space. Mr. Ayisi, you've been missed on the show. Welcome back.
Morning.
A lot of traveling. Good morning.
Yeah. Sometimes that's the nature of the job.
Right.
I've met 2 segments.
You have.
So I'm back.
You're back. Great to have you back, educating us on the importance of the mining space and how we can take advantage of that. Now, small-scale mining, I saw a conference that happened yesterday in the Upper East region, I believe, of miners that are there and the regulatory framework, how they can do it legally. You'll talk later about the Volta Lake and the scare that came when we saw videos on social media that there was illegal mining happening there. But these frameworks are meant to guide Ghanaian-owned companies and foreign-owned companies so that they mine legally or they mine environmentally sustainably.
Thank you. Small-scale mining, formally, was permitted by law 1989. That's about 34 years now. It's an activity that lawfully began in, if you like, 5 regions: Ashanti, Eastern, Central, Western, and Greater Ashanti, Eastern, Western, Central, and then Upper East region.
Okay.
That's how it started. Barely about 100,000 people or so. Today we are talking about 13 regions. 13. So practically, apart from Greater Accra, maybe it's a matter of time, you never can tell what a geology you say. OT and Volta region, small-scale mining activities for gold takes place in 13 regions, supporting 3 million livelihoods. That's about, if you like, not less than 10% of the population. And if I say livelihood, I am not talking about employment. So I'll give you a typical scenario. You go to a typical small-scale site, you might find about, let's say, 500 people, or let's say 1,000, it depends. And then you may find maybe about 100 people directly involved in mining, those who are directly involved in mining. Just like those of you who are here reading news, and then but there are a lot of people doing things behind the scene. Then you have people who just pick their bicycles and their tricycles or abuboya and come to the site every morning to come and carry the load. They are part of the chain. If you care to know, there are more women in small-scale mining than men.
Right.
Yes. They come and mount food joints and sell all kinds of things across the, what they call, around the clock. They also go to the farmer to go and pick foodstuffs. So it's a whole lot of change. People are selling, there's a whole market around it. And then if you go to the central business districts or the commercial center of the known small-scale towns and mining areas like Diaso, Dunkwa, Tako, and all those things, everything that goes on there is linked to mining.
Right.
So that is a livelihood situation we paint. So for me, if we do it very well, we'll be able to resolve many of the unemployment in Ghana. Now, the community mining scheme, as you said in your introductory remarks, is a major policy initiative of the government as a way of sanitizing the small-scale sector to ensure responsible mining, and then they do it properly.
Right.
So what happened was that the minister directed us to prepare an operational manual. I think it's been brought. We will share it. The operational manual is basically to regulate how the activity should be carried out. So we don't just get up and launch a small-scale site.
Right.
Now, who qualifies? Essentially, the whole scheme is to encourage persons living in the community. So as much as possible, get involved in mining so that they stop running around people's concession and then get into galamsey. Hence the term community mining. So a group of people can come together, the traditional leaders are involved, the assemblies are involved, etc. Please, let me underscore this. We don't allow foreigners in small-scale mining.
No?
Yes, they are not supposed to get involved.
Okay.
Now, how do you get a site? These are areas that have been identified and demarcated and then gazetted by Minerals Commission, designated as such. That's the first thing. We will need to investigate the place.
The land acquisition.
Yes, and then designate it as a place earmarked for small-scale community mining.
Right.
And then you need to put certain protocols in place. So maybe I would like the video to roll.
Yes, so we'd have the video up on how a small-scale mining site that goes by the regulatory frameworks by the Minerals Commission and the Lands Ministry is supposed to look like, and when it's being operationalized, how it will be. And Mr. Ayisi will run us through what we are seeing on our screen now. On the screen now.
So this was the one that was launched just last week.
Okay.
Last week, 3 of them at Amansie in the Ashanti region. The earlier picture, so that is, this is a manual. Let's go to the manual first.
Okay.
Because I see the manual is rolling. So you see, a typical small-scale site or community site, you're supposed to have some kind of office. Okay, like a reception, an office. I mean, well done. We will inspect. This is an artist's impression, but the one we start showing, the one we launched last year, you understand it properly. Right. You're supposed to have toilet facilities at the campsite, both male and female. And then you're also supposed to have kind of a mini clinic or first aid.
Emergency.
Yes, that's also important so that people can get treatment before they go to the main hospital. That is also that. And then you're supposed to have your mercury-free processing machine where you can process the ore and then, recover your good. It doesn't use water. So all these things, you're supposed to have them on site. So the district inspector of Minerals Commission of the area will have to come and inspect and make sure that all these things have been put in place before, you go to the licensing regime, and then the minister will come and launch. Now, let me underscore this. Any community mining scheme that has not been launched by the minister is not recognized. That's illegal. Because we've heard people say, oh, the community mining scheme is becoming another galamsey. In fact, some even journalists use the word glorify galamsey. Yeah. No. People put up signboard, hide in a bush there, and then they put MinCom logo, that of the ministry EPA, and they say community mining scheme. Then you assume that, oh, they are being regulated. No. That video must roll so that we see it properly.
Right.
So that's how a typical community mining scheme or site is supposed to look like. So then the officer can visit you, they can file production returns, we know where the gold is going, and then we'll know how many people are working there and the impact of the community.
Right.
Now the chiefs are involved, the assemblies are involved, and then we also know the sponsor. So it could be a cooperative society, it could be a group, or it could be a registered company.
Right.
There is no way a community mining scheme will be launched without the traditional authorities knowing. In fact, everywhere we've gone to launch it, it is the chief that presides over the ceremony. So once the minister sets the date, the chief is consulted, the district assembly is also consulted, they agree, they actually prepare the site, and then that is it. And then we give them the gold catcher. The gold catcher basically doesn't use mercury. Mercury doesn't give them more than 40%. Okay, and then the health hazard that comes with the use of mercury. But the gold catcher, they recover more than 90%. So it crashes, mills concentrate and recovers the gold without the use of mercury. Actually traps mercury, and then it also, give them the gold. So these are some of the things that we are doing. Now, you can do containers. The one we are coming to show is container. It depends on the pocket of the organizers or sponsors. You can do containers. You can also do a wooden structure, or some that quite have money can do also block. And we have to make sure that all the boxes are ticked before we launch them.
You mean the offices can be containers? And
yes.
Some are brick.
Even the last case people even use containers. Okay. I don't know why the video is delaying.
Well, the video will come up shortly.
Yeah, so if you take Asanko and many of the last case people, they have this, 20-foot container thing. Okay. So you can use containers. We allow it. You see, the bottom line is that So that is a video rolling.
Right.
So as it rolls, we'll take you through it. So as I said, this was launched just a week ago. Last week, Wednesday. And you see it. So these are all containers.
This is in Amansia.
This is what government is talking about. This is responsible mining. Amansia last week. Small scale mining. So you see their offices. This is a general, view of the place. But then it will go into it one after the other.
And these are containers.
These are containers. I mean, beautifully done. Okay, beautifully done. So you see their mini clinic. So you see they have water on site. It's all part of the health protocols. The place has been fenced. That's a borehole. Who will go to the water body?
Right.
Can you imagine if we replicate these things across Ghana?
You have environmental sustainability.
So look at it. This is a changing room. It's well labeled. So, it's barely a week. Yes. So that's a changing room. This is a conference room I'm talking about. This is small-scale mining with fun. How can this be glorified galamsey? Okay? With glass, everything. Anybody who walks into this area, so this is office, number 2, very decent.
And it's operational after the launch by the
minister. It was launched last week, so they have 2 offices. They have even labeled office number 1 and office number 2.
Right.
So I want you to pay attention to this one. So you see, very simple.
The first aid.
First aid. Small scale, first aid. So if somebody is injured, they can take him through some treatment before maybe he's rushed to maybe the nearest hospital will be Obuasi or maybe Konfanoche. So let it keep rolling as we discuss and you ask the questions.
Right.
Now, this one is Amansia. So the Minerals Commission District Office in Obuasi will be watching them.
Okay.
They will be going to the site. The inspectors are there to make sure that, and then the sites are just nearby. Now, guess what? Government give them gold catcher.
Okay.
That's a mercury-free machine. They should work and pay over 2-3 years.
That's what the government did.
So you can imagine if this is replicated all over Ghana in the so-called 13 regions. We are bringing more gold catchers. So this is what we are doing. Compare this to what we've been seeing on the television. Going to the water body with the chamfa and all those things. So this is operational. So at first I showed you the operational manual, the artistic impression. Now, as you say in our Ghanaian language or parlance, this is fili. Anybody can go and get a location and go there.
And evidence that
so
there.
Between now and end of December, we hope to launch maybe 10-15 more, and we'll keep doing it. This thing takes time. They started putting their structures, I think about 4 or 5 months ago. So those who started somewhere in January, this was a gold catcher we brought. This was sometime in April last year when President launched. So we are distributing it to them. So all these are the measures being put in place by the government to promote responsible mining and then make sure that the miners work properly. So when people get up and say, let's ban it, and let me tell you something that will be mind-blowing. This, until last week, they were galamsey people. They were illegal miners. And then the officer went around, because all our offices are very well equipped, connected to the internet. There's a brand new card for the officer. So he went pick the coordinates sometime last year. And then his recommendation was that where they are working, he doesn't think that it is so much of a problem that we have to get the security to evict them. So the officer's recommendation is that let us regularize and formalize them.
So you just reintegrate.
So I sent the chief inspector of mines there, just to corroborate the report.
Right.
Then when we said, stop working. We are coming to formalize you. And then, because we said that, they stopped.
Okay.
They all went away. I said, get your leaders. We spoke to the chiefs. And then they started their structures. So within 4 or 5 months, this is what we are seeing.
Amazing.
Do you understand? But I cannot go and formalize those who have gone into the water body. We'll talk about black water later on. So I am so proud about this.
Right. So we are hoping to see 10 to 15 of this. I do see in the manual that there's something about the oversight committee, the mining oversight committee. In Ghana, when we talk about committees, people think that it's just layman talk. It's just a name. It doesn't really take effect. Is this committee going to be the real watchdog over these oversight
My sister,
rules
this
and regulations
is
that we're looking at?
Let me make this clear. When the whole thing was introduced, the backlash or the criticism was that yes, it's just another thing by government to it's galamsey and all those things. No. So the minister said, look, design a framework. It's important I say this. Design a framework to govern how the whole scheme will run.
Right.
So then the small-scale Department of Minerals Commission came out with this operational manual. You can see the minister signed it, and then there's a forward to it. So this is September 2021. So the manual tells you the do's and don'ts and what you have in place.
Right.
That is it. So before any scheme will take off or be launched, we insist that everything in the manual has been put in place. The district officer has checked the box to make sure that all the items listed there are in place.
Right.
The manual is available to the Small Scale Miners Association. We have it in, so we're giving it to them. They know.
Okay. So
this is what we are doing. And this is not the only one. I mean, we've done it for Bongo, my favorite place, Bongo. In the Upper East. And then right now, there's some place in Bole. We're going there. And also even in the northern part. Now, apart from the south, I always say this. What I like about the north is not my doing. Maybe it's just the location of the ore body. Is that many of the small-scale operations there are underground.
Right.
So environmentally, that is less, what do you call it, intrusive. They just go underground, go and bring the boulders, come out, and then use mercury to treat them or crush them.
Okay.
So almost all the schemes that we have launched in the north that are operational now, my sister, let me underscore this and say this. They were all illegal miners.
Right.
Illegal miners. So we're taking steps to regularize the operations of those who have been working illegally in places that we think, as far as the Minerals Commission rules and protocols are concerned, we can allow them to work. But if you have invaded a forest, if you have invaded a water body, that one we cannot allow. We'll just send a security office, security people to come and clear you. So that is it.
Looking at what you envisage, the expansion of mining in even the northern territory, we have learned lessons from how it's being done in the south and what illegal mining, the threats it poses. In the manual, it talks about support services. Is it a forestry commission looking at snipping this illegal mining in the bud by regularizing them as the scheme wants to do?
Some areas are just no-go areas.
Okay.
One, all water bodies. We cannot allow anybody to mine there. It's not allowed. So if you go into the water body, like what we saw in the Black Water, they remove all those things now. The military is still there because if you relax, it will come back.
Right.
So water body, no-go area. Areas that have been designated by EPA or Forestry Commission as ecologically very sensitive, okay, Ramsar site and all those areas will not allow you. Then even areas where our mining inspectors also think that we shouldn't allow mining. So it's not a Ramsar site. It's not ecologically very sensitive. But maybe it's on a hill. Okay? So if you allow and there's some landslide or something, the whole town is gone. Or it is too close to the town. And so we will not allow it. Apart from that, I mean, the law is clear where anybody can comfortably undertake mining activities. And in particular, small scale, we are quite strict on them. That is it.
Now, earlier on, when you talked about the launching of these schemes, you talked about harmonizing all the stakeholders in the community, including the chiefs. We have seen in the past chiefs being involved in Galamsey, even digging up to under their houses and all of that. These are also supposed to be people who help with regulation in these communities. What is being done by the commission? Oh,
if you're a chief and you're involved in Galamsey, they don't deal with you. I mean, there is this case that is pending now down, where a chief and some foreign people were arrested. And so that one, the law is clear.
Okay.
But these people, they are very happy because, one, the chiefs are happy that now nobody will come and arrest them, and whatever. And let me say this, the first person that is consulted before any scheme, starts is the chief and the DCE.
Okay.
Yes. The district inspector of the Minerals Commission must take the people, the group that is organizing it, to the DC and say, look, we are coming to do this. You inform the traditional authorities, okay? So once you get all clear, they ask all the questions. Then now we ask the people, put your structures in place. And you'll be surprised that many of these community mining schemes, the MPs are helping, whether MPP or NDC.
Okay.
Some of them have taken it upon themselves to assist them with the gold catcher. Because when it comes to this, it's not politics. Okay. I mean, if there are Galamsey people in some area and the Minerals Commission thinks that the place can be regularized and the place the MP there is an NDC person. Will you say because it's NDC you won't do it? No.
Right.
So they all come and they are helping. And almost all the ceremonies, the MPs are invited because you see, he's the political head of the place.
Right.
So sometimes, so this is the chief. You can see. I mean, the chiefs are seated there. So don't come and tell me that the chief doesn't know anything about it. I mean, look at it. Beautiful seated.
Right.
That's the deputy minister there. And then our officer is also there. And you can see the chief. Yeah. So they all know. And they know who is behind what. And, of course, they'll get there's some money for them, for the assembly, for the chief. And then they pay for the gold catcher. And then they, at least this one, look at them. Look at it. When you see this picture, and I'm not talking, you think these are large-scale miners.
I mean, these schemes definitely, if the chiefs will buy into it, is
so
because
this one thing, so that's Deputy Minister Duka inspecting. Do you understand that? The earlier picture, you saw how they were supposed to dress. It's also part of the operational manual.
The safety.
The operational manual. So this is it. I'm happy the guy brought it. Look at them.
Yeah.
So these people are gainful employee now.
Right.
If I didn't come to say this and you see this, you think it's a large-scale mining scheme. These are small-scale miners, properly attached. They have a helmet, so you see, their safety working gear, they must have it. The officer will inspect all these things before the minister will come and commission, because I'm the first person who said will be chopped off if the minister goes to this side and say, look, what I saw, I'm embarrassed. So you can see them, their boots, working gear, everything. And this costs a lot of money. We assist. Sometimes where they are struggling, we come and help them. For example, if you go to the Bongo one in Upper East, the borehole they have there, it costs us about 25,000. If they pump everything, Minerals Commission pay for it. So this is what we are doing, because we don't want anybody to wash into the water body or go into the water body. So the Amansia one that was launched last week, they have water on site. They will just pump into the mercury-free machine, process the good. At least you can know how much is going to be produced and where the good is going. Okay, so it requires a lot of time. As I said, it's nearly over 3 decades of inaction. So this is what government is doing. So why do you say we should get up and ban it?
I mean, finally, before you take leave of us, how far-reaching is the empowerment of these communities to be roped on board to use the proper licensing regime?
A lot of education is going on. In fact, what I'm even doing here is education. Okay, people are watching. So you saw the people who came to the program. All the chiefs were consulted. Well, I happen to be a chief myself.
Right.
You cannot just walk to a chief today and say, come to the program. Even our ministers, you can't go to a minister today and say, oh, there's a program tomorrow, come. No. You need
further consultation.
Yeah, you need to send the district officer first to the area and then look for the chief, look for the DC, and then discuss the issue with them. The chiefs must agree that we are comfortable, we like their site, who is behind, what is in it for them. All these things are discussed. So we've come very far. So when you tell them, come to, and we are now coming to launch, that's why they all showed up. And it's not just one chief. They came with a retinue of subjects and all those things. So everybody is consulted. The president was very clear when this thing came out, and the instructions came from the minister. Everybody must be consulted. Right. So I will struggle for anybody to tell me that this particular area, the chiefs don't know about it. I'll just show him there, say, but these are the chiefs seated there.
The chiefs' evidence.
And you can invite them over a day.
Definitely.
They saw, look, when you come to my village or you go to your village today, if you're a stranger, they will know. If any structure is going to know, I mean, what is this that is going on? Oh, we've not been told. Even though it's something good coming to us, whether it's a road or whatever, but we cannot be seated here and then someone will come and tell us he's building up a hospital, he's building a school, or he's developing a community mining scheme, and we don't know anything about it.
So it has to be inclusive.
So there's no way this, like they'll boycott it. They'll not even boycott. They'll bring a petition to a minister and say this is going on. First, they will go and see the DC. Right. Do you know anything about it? How can that we've not been told? This is our land. So that is the first thing you have to do. A lot of them have not been commissioned yet because we are still doing the consultation. They are getting ready with their structures. Okay. That is it.
Okay, that's so among the 10 to 15
lovely things going on.
Of them. Lovely things. I know you'll be back at the table to give us more insights into how these small-scale mining companies are being roped in to become legal, and Mr. Ayisi has said how they are harmonizing the illegal miners, hitherto, to become safe and environmentally friendly. And you see the structure that we showed you as well, which includes all the top-notch facilities before the minister launches for them to take off and mine illegally. We do know that Ghana produces about 3.5 million ounces of gold. More than that, Mr. Ayisi is saying, is the leading gold producer and other mineral reserves, which boosts our economy. Talking about